From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hey there, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, April 23rd. Happy Friday, everybody. We are finally getting back to some more normal temperatures for this time of year. We'll be dry with highs in the upper 50s to low 60s. Get your rain gear out for the weekend, though. Really soggy Saturday leads to a pretty decent Sunday that'll be dry in the low 60s. And today, a final farewell for one of the people killed in last week's mass shooting at FedEx. Matthew Alexander's funeral is this morning. His loved ones have a clear message that friends and family want to celebrate his life and not dwell on the tragic event that took place. A visitation for Alexander took place last night at Plainfield Christian Church. Alexander is being remembered as an avid sports fan. He played baseball at Avon High School and his favorite team, the St. Louis Cardinals. His smile shines bright in every picture that you see of him, and it's one thing that his friends say they'll never forget.
No one's ever had a bad encounter with Matt, and so we all rallied around there, and there were some tears, but, we had a lot of celebrating about, the man he was. The man we'll be missing, the memories we won't get to make with him anymore, but reflecting on the ones we do have is always going to be worth it.
His family is asking for contributions be made to the Matt Alexander Memorial Baseball Scholarship Fund in place of flowers. Those donations can be sent to Baker Funeral Home in Danville. The funeral begins at 11 o'clock this morning. Alexander's family said he was in a management position at FedEx that allowed him to have a phone on him at work, but they never heard back from the 32-year-old after texting him 20 minutes after the shooting. And services are scheduled next week for Samaria Blackwell. Visitation is set for Monday morning at 11:30 at Southport Heights Christian Church in Indianapolis. A funeral service will follow at 2:30 in the afternoon. Masks will be required. The Blackwell family says the 19-year-old dreamed of becoming a police officer. Samaria's family and friends are leaning on their faith now to get them through the loss. And this morning, we're hearing from her former coach. News 8's Sierra Hignite spoke to him about what made Samaria such a great team player.
Samaria Blackwell had just graduated high school last spring and had only been working at FedEx for a few months. Before her time at the shipping company, Samaria was an athlete. She played soccer and basketball.
Very tough-minded individual, clearly knew what she wanted to do with her life for the most part and went after that. And that showed also on the basketball court.
Samaria had dreams of becoming a police officer. The career path seems fitting for her, considering her commitment to protect and defend her friends and teammates at all costs.
So if somebody were to say something bad or if somebody had a hard foul, the other team, sometimes they'd have to look down the bench and make sure she wasn't standing up, ready to walk out on the floor and do something about it.
She was fiercely loyal. Her teammates could always count on her to be there.
Even through her injuries, right, of basketball, she never stopped coming to basketball. She always wanted to support her friends. So even though she couldn't play necessarily, she would sit the bench or help with practice or do whatever it was.
Her coach says he would often see her lifting up others and making sure anyone she was with had a smile on their face.
Wherever there was laughter, you could assure that Samaria was someplace in the middle of that. She was kind of, again, the spark that always started the fire no matter where it was.
As they look to God for guidance in this tragedy, her friends and family are holding their memories that they have with her close.
She was, again, just a joy to be around, always brought laughter, and her impact will be felt for years and years.
I'm Sierra Hignite for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
If you missed our special, Remembering All 8 Lives Lost, you can still watch it. Just go to wishtv.com and click on the story at the top of the homepage. Working to heal after a tragedy. That was part of the focus at a vigil in Greenwood for the 8 people killed in the mass shooting. City officials and members of the Sikh community came together to remember the lives lost. 4 of the victims were of the Sikh faith. Speakers took a moment to share a short story about each victim, and one Sikh member explained to News 8 that his faith is all about believing in peace and togetherness.
No matter what you are, if you're a Sikh, Muslim, Jew, Christian, it does not matter. We are all human.
Speakers also shared mental health resources for people who were there at the vigil. And now to the fight on COVID-19. The future of Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine is now in the hands of CDC advisors. Today, a CDC panel is set to meet and likely vote on updated recommendations for the use of the one-dose vaccine in the United States. The shot was put on pause after 6 women reportedly developed blood clots. Those cases were among more than 6 million doses administered. Dr. Anthony Fauci has said that on Sunday he expects the vaccine to be back with more restrictions and warnings. And today, Lucas Oil Stadium will host a mass vaccination clinic. Health officials hope to give out 2,000 Moderna shots. The clinic is open right now. It's running from 8:30 to 5:30 today and tomorrow. Planners say they'll have enough for some walk-up spots, but they recommend making an appointment. You can do that by texting the word Colts to 75049. That's text the word Colts to 75049. When baseball comes back downtown, 3,450 fans can be in the stands. The Indians announced a cap of 25% of capacity for games through the end of the next month, with seating in pods of 2, 4, or 6. First home game is May 11th. Tickets go on sale next Wednesday. Concessions will be cashless. You can watch many of the home games from your home this year on MyIndy TV 23. And the U.S. is now at a tipping point with vaccine supply set to outpace demand. The daily pace of COVID-19 vaccinations is now below 3 million a day for the first time in 2 weeks. That's according to the CDC. Just last week, vaccinations reached a peak of 3.4 million shots per day. As of this morning, 89.2 million people are fully vaccinated. 135 million people have at least one shot. And even fewer people in Indiana are looking for a shot. The state's chart shows April 7th, nearly 75,000 people got the shot in one day. 2 weeks later, that number was about 30,000 lower. The numbers are prompting changes, like the cancellation of a max vaccine clinic in Mooresville. Morgan County health officials said that they were excited for the opportunity to get 2,400 doses from the state. They say 40 volunteers were coming in on their off time, and a school was set to host. The plan was to vaccinate 180 people an hour, but only 97 people signed up for the entire event.
We hated it, absolutely hated it, because our mission has been, and it still is, get shots in the arm. And when you can't do that to any great effectiveness, it's frustrating.
Health officials say those who did sign up for the Mooresville clinic will be contacted to schedule an appointment in Martinsville, the county's main clinic. And there's now a number you can call to cancel your scheduled vaccine appointment in Hamilton County. The goal of the new hotline is to help lower the number of no-shows. According to the health department, there's been an increase in people just not showing up for their appointments. So the number to call is 317-776-8566. 317-776-8566. You can also call 211 to cancel an appointment, or to book one for that matter. Marion County health officials are discussing their plan to keep spectators safe at the Indy 500. Talked about it on the Daily 8 yesterday here. 135,000 fans will be at the track for the race this year. That's 40% capacity at IMS. According to Marion County Health Director Dr. Virginia Kane, both the track and the county will be doing their own contact tracing.
We have a very robust number of contact tracers, of which the Marion County Health Department, in partnership with the Indiana University Fairbanks School of Public Health contact tracers, will be monitoring any of the positive cases.
Kane says more people are getting vaccinated, which will be a big factor in preventing an outbreak. And there are possible changes coming to mask guidance. In an interview with NBC, the CDC director says the agency is looking at whether it's still necessary for people to wear masks outdoors. The agency's current guidance says masks may not be needed if you're outside and away from others. Health experts say the science shows it's harder to transmit the virus outside, but they also warn there are exceptions.
It's about close to 19 times less likely to happen outdoors versus indoors. The virus is contagious. It doesn't like to be outdoors. It doesn't like to be in the sunlight. But if you are closely clustered together, if there's lots of people in a single area, if you're going to be there for long periods of time.
Research also shows that fewer than 10% of new COVID-19 cases were contracted outdoors. A bill that would ban COVID-19 vaccine passports is now on Governor Holcomb's desk. State lawmakers approved the measure yesterday in a wide-ranging health care and insurance bill. It would allow government agencies to keep vaccine records and provide people with their own. The bill does not place any limits on private businesses. Holcomb has not said if he intends to sign the bill. Governors in Texas, Florida, and Arizona have already announced executive orders to ban the use of vaccine passports. And work in the Indiana General Assembly is done this morning. The big issue, the state budget, got very strong support from both sides of the aisle in both chambers. The $37 billion plan includes nearly $2 billion in additional spending for education. It also puts $500 million of federal relief money toward a regional economic development grants program, $250 million for broadband internet expansion grants, and $160 million for water projects. An alternate juror in the trial of Derek Chauvin is describing what she calls the turning point of the trial. Lisa Christensen says the testimony from pulmonary critical care doctor Martin Tobin convinced her of the former police officer's guilt. Tobin testified that George Floyd died of low oxygen due to Chauvin's restraint. Christensen is also explaining what it was like being in the courtroom with Chauvin.
I was sitting pretty much across from him, so when I was done note-taking or looking between the lawyers and paying attention to the witnesses, I did lock eyes with him a couple of times, and it was a little uncomfortable. No intent on any messages or anything going back and forth. It just, you look up and there he is. So, he has to look up at some point too, so.
Christensen sat through the entire trial but was dismissed prior to deliberation. She was not one of the 12 jurors who decided to convict Chauvin.
Dante Wright life mattered.
The family of George Floyd joined mourners to honor another man killed by police in Minnesota. 20-year-old Dante Wright was laid to rest yesterday. Civil rights leader Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy. His words included a stinging rebuke that Wright was pulled over for an air freshener hanging from his mirror. Police say it was for an expired registration. Wright's mother also spoke at the service.
The roles should completely be reversed. My son should be burying me.
Former Brooklyn Center police officer Kimberly Potter is the one who fired the shots. The former police chief says Potter mistook her gun for a taser. Potter is now facing a second-degree manslaughter charge. And today is the unveiling of a new exhibit, Martin Luther King Park in Indianapolis. It's inside the Kennedy King Memorial Initiative Cultural Visitors Center. Organizers say the exhibit looks at the events surrounding the famed speech Senator Robert F. Kennedy gave in the park on the night of King's assassination. It will also explore the progress of African Americans and other minorities in the city. And the school district in Fishers has a new leader this morning. Dr. Yvonne Stokes is the new superintendent of Hamilton Southeastern Schools. The Board of School Trustees describes her as a talented educator. After last night's announcement, Stokes had this to say about what motivates her.
My passion comes from the foundation and groundwork that my parents laid to have a better tomorrow for me, and the fact that I am resilient, and with that, I make sure that I support students, staff, community, and families in areas that they need to be supported.
A group of 10 to 15 people protested last night against the vote. Stokes replaces Dr. Alan Borff, who's retiring at the end of the school year. Stokes is currently the assistant superintendent in Munster, and she'll begin her duties at HSE on July 1st. And now to business headlines. Americans are weighing in on what they'll do first once the U.S. completely opens up. Americans are apparently eager to shop, eat out, and travel after a year of COVID-19 restrictions. With an estimated $1.7 trillion in excess savings, Americans are ready to make up for some lost time, apparently. So according to the new research from global payments company Blackhawk Network, traveling, getting together with friends and family, and eating out are topping the list of activities consumers are most excited to celebrate together. Existing home sales slumped to a 7-month low in March as record prices and tight inventories limited purchases. The median price for existing homes surged 17% from a year ago to $329,100. Prices have risen for 109 consecutive months. And almost the entire Southwest is mired in various stages of drought as of April 21st, resulting in falling water levels as the nation's two largest reservoirs, Lake Mead and Lake Powell. Water levels may drop below a point this summer that triggers water cuts in Arizona and Nevada. This would largely mean cuts to farmers and agriculture. Meanwhile, South Dakota is also in a lingering drought. Mattel sales soared 47% as parents bought toys with stimulus checks. The company continued to see strong sales of dolls in the latest period, with net sales of its American Girl brand rising 22%. Barbie, Mattel's most known brand, also grew in popularity due to new product launches and innovations. All right, a couple cool stories for you here. 4 astronauts are on their way to the International Space Station. SpaceX launched a Falcon rocket just before 6 this morning. This is the first time SpaceX launched both a reused rocket and a reused capsule. The Dragon capsule should reach the International Space Station tomorrow. It is the same capsule that carried up the first SpaceX crew last May. The Perseverance rover has made oxygen on Mars. NASA says the rover used its MOXIE instrument to convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. MOXIE stands for Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Equipment. The space agency says the rover warmed up for 2 hours, then made 5.4 grams of oxygen. That's enough for an astronaut to breathe for 10 minutes. Scientists say Mars' atmosphere is 96% carbon dioxide. NASA says this is a critical first step to sending humans to Mars. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.